Good evening, everyone. It's Dr. McCoy, and it's time for our Thursday gathering. We gather on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch our Bible studies on this Facebook Live on Thursdays at 7 p.m. You can also catch these studies or these gatherings on my YouTube channel. Have you subscribed to my YouTube channel yet? Well, if you come in a little later, if you want to join through YouTube, you can do that as well. So whether you're joining right at 7 p.m. on Thursday or if you're joining a little later, I'm certainly glad you're here. It's 7 o'clock now. I came on, I guess, 1 minute early. I came on at about 6:59, but it is 7 o'clock now. And if you hear voices talking on the conference call line, just remember that they are part of this gathering as well. If you have any questions, you can feel free to type your questions. And if you type them later, if it's not Thursday, it's another day, I'll try to come back and answer your question because it matters. So, do you see my shirt? My shirt says, I wear green for mental health awareness. All right. So on this evening, I want to give some time to really talk about mental health, and particularly I'm going to review the toolkit. So when I say toolkit, it's really a 2023. This is the outreach toolkit, and you can print this out. All you have to do is just go to MHA, which stands for Mental Health Awareness, or Mental Health America. Sorry, MHA stands for Mental Health Awareness. I just said it wrong again. Mental Health America, and then national.org/May. So Mental Health America has something called a toolkit every year. And so I try to go over this toolkit with us every year so that we can know that we have access to information. So if you're working in a community, if you're working in a church, if you're working in a faith-based organization, and even just from home, it's really important that you have this toolkit. Now, you don't necessarily have to print it out, but you can go over it just so that you can have some information, all right, pertaining to mental health. So, like I said, green is the color. And so what I'm going to do, you wear green just to acknowledge that you care about people's mental health, like to let your family, friends, colleagues, and even people that you walk by know that you care about mental health, all right? And good evening, everyone. Thank you for saying good evening to me, Miss McCoy, Vaughn, Atkinson, and anyone else. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're here. So for Mental Health Month this year, Mental Health America is encouraging individuals to look around and look within. Let me say that again. Look around and look within. You know I'm really animated, right? So if you can see me, everybody can't see me because some people are on the phone line. But look around and look within is what Mental Health Awareness Month for 2023, that's really the idea. And you may see hashtag more than enough. You may see that around. And so from looking within, that's thinking about genetics. Looking without is considering our neighborhoods, okay? Because many factors come into play when it comes to mental health conditions. And so what Mental Health America wants to do is encourage everyone to consider how the world around them affects their mental health. So right now, I'm not going to talk about that which is spiritual. I'm going to talk about our minds. Now, if we want to put a scripture with it, if we want to talk about spirituality, Jesus said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. So then on this evening, if you needed scripture, if you needed some biblical foundation here, how are you going to love the Lord with all of your mind if you don't take care of your mind? So tonight, I want to focus on your mind, okay? So Mental Health America's 2023 Mental Health Toolkit that I'm going to go over with you provides many things. Free practical resources, including information about how an individual's environment impacts their mental health, all right? That's the looking around. All right. Also, this toolkit provides suggestions for making changes to improve and maintain mental well-being, and how to seek mental health help if you or someone you know is in need of it. So this year's toolkit, and again, it's just pages that you can use, all right? And you can use it for someone else. If you don't feel like you need it, is there somebody in your life that you feel, needs to care for their mental health? The same way a person who is concerned about your physical health, like a personal trainer. Maybe you don't need a personal trainer, but you know a good one. And so you tell your friends about the personal trainer. When thinking about eating right, you may, refer them to a nutritionist. Well, this mental health toolkit is all about our minds. And so within this toolkit, there are media materials. There are social media information, like shareable images for Facebook. All right. And for Twitter and for Instagram. There are posters that you can print out and have them posted somewhere to help folks. Okay. A screening poster is even available in here. And I printed mine out in black and white, but you can print it out, in color. There are fact sheets in this mental health toolkit. I'm talking about safe and stable housing and healthy home environments and how that can affect your mental health, and neighborhood and town fact sheets, and outdoors and nature. I'm going to talk a little bit about that because it's in here, okay? There are worksheets in here. I'm going to show you that about how you can shape your home environment. There's worksheets in here about opening your mind to the outdoors. Where I am today, it was a really beautiful day. And I mean, the trees and the sunshine and the clouds and the blue sky. All of those things can contribute to a healthy well-being, mental well-being. And then there are outreach ideas in here. So whatever it is that you do, you can help other people. So again, if this is not for you, it may be for someone you know. There are Zoom backgrounds. Yes. So if you pull this up, there are Zoom backgrounds. Again, let me tell you where to find it. And I'll make sure that I post it in the chat section at the end of this, because I'm live right now. I can't post it, but I did show you mhanational.org/May. So I don't know if that's backwards for you or if it's straight. But anyway, MHA stands for Mental Health America. And if you are a preacher, you can include this information in your sermons this month. It's very important that you do that. And hopefully, after I've gone through some of this material, if you don't think that it's valuable or you don't know how to, how to include this information in your work, in your preaching, in your teaching, then hopefully by the time we go through some of this, because I can't go through all of it, I'm turning pages now just to see. I highlighted a few things. But hopefully after we go through this, you can maybe see how you can insert this information into your month. There's even a calendar in here to where each day in May, that rhymes, each day in May, you can look at this, 31 ways to make the world around you work for your mental health. So like each day of the month, there's something here. So like, let's say we look at the 15th. Have we had the 15th yet? No. Okay, today's the 11th. Okay, but the 15th raises a question. Do you work from home? Setting up a designated workspace in your home is ideal, but if you don't have the option of an office, at least keep your work out of the bedroom. See? So that's just an example to help you be healthy mentally. There's another one here on May 8th. It said, put pictures of loved ones or pets in places you often look to stir positive thoughts and feelings throughout the day. See that? So that's just another thing in this toolkit. See, there are different tools that you can use. Okay, so again, when thinking about mental health month or mental health awareness month, I have on my green shirt, and this one just happens to say that I wear green for mental health awareness. But there are different ways that you can do it. And whenever you see that ribbon that's green, that is an international symbol to remind folks that we do care about their mental health and our own mental health. Okay. So I want to first talk about the fact that there are contributing factors, and some of them are in this, but I just want to talk to you. I'm just talking to you right now. I served as a chaplain. I've told many of you that. And one of the units that I served was the behavioral health unit. And if you know anything about that unit, whenever I would go in, I would have to sign myself in, sign myself out. There were certain procedures, protocols that I had to follow because the people in the behavioral health section of the hospital dealt with particular things, if you will. And so to mention mental health, when thinking about contributing factors, what contributes to declining mental health, it's things like job loss, homelessness. It can be sickness. It can be conflict in relationships. Another contributing factor to declining mental health would be financial issues. When we think about that. And so there are different things that some of us have actually dealt with, and we didn't realize at the time that our mental health was in trouble because of those types of things. So again, that's not a spiritual thing. That has to do with the vicissitudes of life, the changes in life, right? Okay, so this is why we're talking about how you need to take care of your mental health, because some of these things may be happening in your life even now. So let's get back to the toolkit. One of the things that they highlight here, and what I did was I just highlighted a few things to share with you on this evening, because I know I can't go through the entire toolkit. But one of the things that I appreciate that they put in here, just from my own experience, is thinking about housing stability and home environment. I mentioned that a little earlier. I want to talk about it a little more. What they say in here is whenever you call home, wherever you call home, it should give you feelings of comfort, feelings of support and calmness. They say, if not, there are things you can do to your space to help you be more productive, to reach your goals, and to improve your mental health. So we'll talk about that a little bit. But on next week, I want you to join me because I have particular things that I want to share with you next week, really tips and strategies to manage anxiety and stress. And again, all these things don't have to do with you pulling out your Bible. I love Bibles. I have them all around, What I want you to be able to do is, be able to go to the Bible, because we definitely need to do that. And how do I put these things in practice? And so if you are feeling an anxiety, the Bible does say to cast our cares upon the Lord because the Lord cares for us. That's absolutely true. And so you need to do that. You need to pray and you need to cast your cares upon the Lord. And then next week, I'm going to also share with you how you can reduce anxiety in your life, what you need to do, your responsibility as a human being in flesh. So spiritually, you talk to the Lord about it. Spiritually, you cast it and you give it to the Lord. But what are you doing emotionally? What are you doing physically? What are you doing when it comes to those types of things? Because we are like four wheels on a car, right? We are spirit. That's true. But then we are emotions, we are physical, and then we are mental. Okay? So I want us to be sure that we serve our full selves. All right? So I'll talk about that. Okay, and one of the other things, when talking about housing and stability and home environment, then they talk about community. They talk about challenges like gentrification. Let me say that again. Gentrification. Many of us know what gentrification is, but they talk about challenges like gentrification, community violence, and lack of access to resources, and how that can negatively impact mental health. Now, gentrification has to do with the character of it's when the character of the poor in an urban area is changed by wealthier people moving in. And what happens is it does improve many times housing, and it attracts businesses. But at the same time, traditionally, what it does is it pushes those persons who are already there. It pushes them, displaces them, the current inhabitants, in the process. And so gentrification can definitely be a factor that contributes to declining mental health. You see how it's not always spiritual? So these things are happening in the lives of so many people. So then some of these things can be out of our control, but we can be an advocate for change that can help to support healthy mental health. And we can make connections that can bring hope. So there's some things that we can actually do. Then they talk about nature. Let's see what they say here. Spending time in nature is linked to many positive mental health outcomes, including improved focus, lower stress, better mood, reduced risk of developing mental health conditions, and a sense of connection to yourself, community, and purpose. So that's what spending time with nature can do. Being around nature doesn't mean you have to be hiking in a forest, is what they say. That's good news, because not all of us like to hike. It can be, they say, walking in a park, or bringing a plant inside, or sitting in your backyard. Oh, bringing a plant inside. Oh, look behind me. I just did this. This is a great example. Okay, so look at my plant. This is my new little plant. And let's see what they're saying. Being around nature doesn't have to mean a hike. It can mean bringing a plant inside. Okay, so here's nature. So doing what I did, and at the time I just did it because I wanted to, but doing what I have done here can contribute to positive mental health. Look at that. And I showed this to someone, I think it was my mom, and she was like, I didn't know if that was real. Or maybe it was my aunt when I FaceTimed her. But it's actually real. So I bought this planter from Amazon, and then I went by Lowe's Hardware, and they have all these nice little plants. And I already had the soil there, or is that what it's called? Dirt or whatever. And I planted this, if you will, myself. So see, you can do things around the house that can contribute to positive mental health. So that's my new little project there. So I'm glad I was able to see it. Thank you. You said it's beautiful. Thank you, Sister Durham. Okay, so that's an example, okay? All right, so let's keep going here. Okay, so they say, so I mentioned how they say, and remember now, you have access to this too. I just want to review it a little bit with us. But look around, look within. Your surroundings say a lot about your mental health. So look, everybody look at my surroundings, what you can see anyway, right? I see you, Sister Michelle, saying, I love gardening as stress relief. Good, that's good. So behind me, I have Together We Rise. Look at that. And I love books. So I have every kind of book that I like. And these are just a few books that can fit in this space. But take a moment to consider your surroundings. Do you feel safe? Do you have access to health care and grocery stores? Does your home support you both physically and mentally? So I have my Bible in here, and for me, that's spiritual support. But that's not what it's asking right now. How does my home support me physically and mentally? So I have my plant here. I have positive affirmation of Together We Rise. That supports me mentally. Physically, I'm in a comfy chair. This is a comfortable chair, so I'm glad I took the time to do that, right? So that's what they're talking about here. Because what they're saying is where a person is born, where they live, where they learn, where they work, where they play, and where they gather, as well as their economic stability and social connections are part of what is called social determinants of health. Okay, let's learn something, okay? Hello there. I see you, Ashley Nicole. Hello. So let me say that again because we're learning something. And you may already know this, but I didn't know this. I don't think I ever heard of this, but maybe I did. Social determinants of health. SDOH, social determinants of health. So that is where a person is born, where they live, where they learn, where they work, play, and gather, as well as their economic stability and social connections are part of what is called social determinants of health. The more these factors work in your favor means you are more likely to have better mental well-being. So this is why I am not going to sit in spaces like these. I'm not going to preach and teach and try to make you think that all that matters is your spiritual connection with God. That is not all that matters, okay? It's absolutely not. Because you are a human being. You are having a real life experience in a real fleshly body. Okay. And if there is something going on with the way that you gather, if there's something going on with your economic stability, you can pray about it. We can tell people all the time, pray about your situation. And we need to tell them, you go get a job. so that you can have economic stability. So I would never sit in spaces and teach people that all you need to do is just sit back, in your rocking chair and just watch the Lord make it work. You need to do some work. And if things are not right, you need to advocate, okay? And this is why we have advocacy efforts, okay? So when it seems like the world is working against you, your mental health can suffer, all right? And I see you, Sister Atkinson, on a healing journey with hubby, doctor and hospital visits. It's not letting me see all you said. One of the questions they ask now, do you feel safe in your... It didn't let me read the rest of it. But I know that as a chaplain, we were to ask questions like that. We would say, do you feel safe in your current environment? We would ask, I would ask, I can't say everybody. I'm not going to speak for every chaplain, but I would ask particular questions just to gauge where the person was, because I was not to only be concerned about their spiritual health as their spiritual care provider, but I was also to be concerned about their safety. I needed to know if they needed a meal. We had meal tickets. I needed to know about parking situations for their family members. And so could not just go in there with just an agenda of one thing. I went in to try and serve the full person. And even if it was outside of the scope of my care, because I was not a medical doctor, I was not a nurse, I was not a nutritionist. There's so many things that I was not. And I needed to be resourceful. So then I listened to the person and I learned what it is that they need. And then what I'm supposed to do is to point them in that direction. But if I did not ask them questions, probing questions, then was I really concerned about the totality of the person? I see you saying, Brother Timothy, faith without works is dead. Some things are required from the Lord on our part. There you go. And Sister Tucker, yes, it can. I can see it with the hospital staff dealing with things at home and work. Oh, yes. So, you may be physically fine. I mean, if you consider like your arm is not broken, your leg is not broken. That's what I mean when I say that. However, mentally, there can be some challenges. And so this is why I'm doing this on this evening, to be sure that you're really taking care of yourself, okay? So there are steps that we can take to improve our surroundings. But if we're still struggling with mental health, we might have a mental health condition. You see, when we don't want it to become a condition, we need to be aware. That's why I have my little shirt, mental health awareness. We need to be aware because we may be experiencing signs of a mental health condition. And that can happen, okay? And it's not your fault if that happens. So let me be sure that I'm being clear. I'm not saying that it's your fault because you don't do certain things. I'm simply saying that you can empower yourself to do things that will lean you toward a healthier mind. But there are things that happen to people's minds and it's not their fault. So I want to make that clear, okay? All right, because when we start thinking about, mental health, we're talking about emotional disorders. We're talking about physical disorders, but it goes beyond. I mean, we're talking about things like schizophrenia. We're talking about bipolar. We're talking about substance use and abuse. We're talking about, post-traumatic stress disorders, So I don't want to sound as if I'm saying if you don't take care of your mind, you're going to have a condition. I'm not saying that. I'm simply saying we need to be aware of what's going on. Like they're saying, look around and look within. All right. Your surroundings say a lot about your mental health. So let me just go through some more of this. And I am just putting my pages all backwards. But there are images in here. So if you want to do a training or a lesson or a teaching, you don't have to be a mental health professional in order to be resourceful. Let me say that again. You don't have to be a mental health professional in order to be resourceful. Okay, you can know about a thing and make sure you let people know. I'm not a mental health professional. I'm not a clinician. I'm not even a therapist, but I am someone who has some information and I do care about your mental health. And so I'm just going to share this toolkit with you. so that we can know where to go, even as individuals, if that's what we need to do. So if you have Facebook, and many of you who are here this evening, you have Facebook. Okay, so what you can do, you can, do hashtags. Hashtag look around. Hashtag look within. Hashtag look around and look within. Hashtag mental health month or mental health awareness month. So it's just about having the information. And then, hey, you don't have to be a mental health professional to tell someone, look, if you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, help is available. Okay, I know I sound like a radio personality, but now I actually am a radio personality. So I don't know if I mentioned it here, but I am a radio personality now on Saturdays from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 57 WLLE. We are the spirit of the city. And so I'm in that space on Saturdays, and no matter where you are in the world, you can listen to 57WLLE.net. And what I did, even on the station, what I'm doing on the station, I should say, because May has just come in. So on this Saturday, if you listen from 2 to 6, you're going to hear me mention this. If you or someone you know, I don't have to be a mental health professional, but I'm resourceful. If you or someone else you know is struggling or in crisis, help is available. Call or text 988. Call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org. You can also reach Crisis Text Line by texting MHA. Remember I said that means Mental Health America. MHA to 741-741. See that? So even on this evening, if you are struggling, you seriously can text 988. There you go. So that's in here as well, okay? And then there are Zoom backgrounds. So if you're one of those persons who are going to teach, there's Zoom backgrounds in here. So, there's shareable posts in here. There's 24/7 resources. And then there's webinars. Now listen to this. Listen to these webinars. And then I'm going to close us out because, again, I'm just giving us information, okay? Listen to the webinars that are available as it relates to helping people to have a healthy disposition, positive disposition, when it comes to mental health. Listen to this. A webinar will be held entitled Safety, Not Stigma, Reframing the Way We Talk About Guns and Violence. You might want to have a watch party for that. Here's another one. Handling the holidays in a non-LGBTQ plus affirming environment. Preventing and healing from child abuse and neglect. Supporting LGBTQ plus youth in our communities. Workplace mental health, employer perspective. The rural mental health crisis, and then providing peer support in a rural environment. I'm telling you all, this is free. This is free, okay? And so the last thing that I wanted to share with you is, and like I knew I wouldn't be able to go through all of this. That's why on next week, I hope you join me, because like I said, I'm going to talk about tips and strategies to manage anxiety and stress. And then we'll get back to the book of Mark, okay? So just stick with me so that I won't just be giving you this information from this toolkit, but I'll tell you how to practice the management of anxiety and stress on next week. But in here, they have like ways to practice tidiness when talking about a healthy home environment, because I brought that up a little earlier, like what you can do to create a tidy space. They say start small, and then there's something written there. Then they say be mindful throughout your day. Practice mindfulness while cleaning. Look at that. Get rid of unneeded belongings, okay? And then make your bedroom sleep friendly. Does anybody have issues with sleep? Okay, I'm feeling like somebody does. I can feel you right now. Okay, so I'm going to go through this one. Okay, we're talking about healthy home environments. Make your bedroom sleep friendly. Okay, for good mental health. So this is for you, because I feel like you're out there. I can just feel you. Yeah, you're there. For good mental health, it's particularly important to pay attention to your sleeping conditions. Poor sleep is known to sometimes trigger or worsen mental health challenges, while getting quality rest can protect your mental health. Your surroundings come into play with things like temperature, light, and noise. So you're not sleeping well. Have you considered the temperature in your home, the light, and the noise? What can you do to improve your sleep? Keep it cool is the first thing. The ideal sleeping temperature is 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Keep a fan around for warm nights and blankets nearby for cold nights. Now, I happen to be really cold natured, so I have low iron. So I don't know how that will work for me, but I'm willing to see. Okay, the next thing, lessen excess noise. If you live with others or in a busy area, distracting sounds like traffic or neighbors might keep you up at night. That happens to me sometimes with my neighbors. You can use a noise machine. Have you ever tried that? Or find sleep music or white noise online. So if you have a cell phone, mine is right here. You can find that online, okay? And some people say that when they listen to the Bible, they fall asleep. But we're talking about staying asleep. But you can drown out noise, okay, with annoying noise with white noise or sleep music. I've been using now what's called bilateral music. You can Google it. You can find it on YouTube. So if you don't sleep well at night, I suggest that you try bilateral music, okay? So then the last thing says make your space dark. So I'm going to stop there. There's just so much. And then that's not all. They say create comfort, check air quality. I hope that I've given you enough information to where you're excited about going to download this toolkit. Okay. And what I'll do is next week, I'll talk about this worksheet. Yeah. Opening your mind to the outdoors. This is so good. It's like a guided meditation here. There's planning here. There's building motivation, and there's planning into action. And this is what it looks like. Okay. So yes, Miss Atkinson, I see you saying good information. I think so too. And so I just wanted you all to know that this was not original. This is not me. This is Mental Health America, and it's accessible to you. So I want you to take care of yourself, and I want you to at least go look at it, okay? Just go look at it. And next week, like I said, I'll give you some tips, and I'll go over this worksheet, all right? And then we'll get back to Mark. So I hope that this has been helpful. I am going to pray with you on this evening because I know that God is concerned about our mental health, and we always aren't. Some people over-spiritualize things, and so I want us to really pray. Because there's somebody out there who just cannot, even talk about their mental state because people over spiritualize it and they can't even have a conversation. So I'm going to pray for those people, and I'm going to pray for the rest of us. Sister Tucker, can I get copies of that information, please? Yes, ma'am. What I'll do is, because it's a lot, it's like a lot of pages. What I'll do, Miss Tucker, I will put it in the chat after I am not live anymore. And what you'll be able to do is you can click the link and it'll send you to it, and then you can download it. So you don't even have to print it out if you don't want to. You can download it to your phone and you can have access that way. So yes, ma'am, what I'll do is I'll put the link in the chat. So let's pray. God, thank you so very much for being concerned about our mental health, for teaching us that we must love you as our creator with all of our heart, all of our soul, and all of our mind. So God, for those of us who are challenged by talking about mental health and those who stigmatize such conversations, I pray for them now, God, that you will help them to see that you care about the full man, the full woman, the full person. You care about them. And so God, I just pray that you will help us to take care of our minds. Thank you for your patience. In the name of Jesus, amen. All right. That's it on this evening. Thank you so much for being here. And again, I'm going to be on the radio. I need to say that. I will be on 57WLLE.net on Saturdays from 2 to 6 p.m. So you can join me if you like and listen to some great gospel music, okay? And again, it's just 57WLLE.net. It's online. So thank you so much for your support. Take care of your mind, and we'll delve a bit deeper on next week. And thank you on the conference call line. Have a great evening.